What's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. We got some shocking news that came out today, folks. US Mint gold bullion sales dropped 76% in June since last year. Silver bullion demand down 69%. This is shocking, especially noting that the first month of January this year, we sold 5 million Eagles. Record-breaking sales from the US Mint, Royal Mint, and Perth Mint in the beginning of this year, but now we're seeing sales down this much. It's insane. There's so much happening nowadays. It's almost unbelievable. Right now, precious metals across the board are in the red: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. We're going to look at what's happening in this video. Silver's down to $19.29 right now. If it breaks below 19, how low do you think it's going to go? Let me know. I'm also going to be putting timestamps in this video, so I'll be covering every single topic that we discuss. Make sure you stay tuned because this is going to be a good one. Like always, the link is in the description. So, gold prices have dropped dramatically this week, testing long-term support around $1,730 an ounce. But according to some analysts, lower prices could help reset the physical bullion market and bring in new retail investors. And that is exactly what I think is going to happen. Since premiums were so high, this is a perfect entry point for people that weren't willing to pay, 70% premiums on Eagles. And that's a real number. Some of these sites actually, I showed a chart that showed the premium on Eagles from these different companies. And SD Bullion, the premium was 71% over spot. That's shocking, right? So now this is a great way for people to enter that, weren't willing to pay those crazy high prices. Now, yes, premiums are still through the roof, but at least, you get a better bang for your buck. Now, this whole situation is really interesting because I'm curious what is going to happen in January next year, what the demand is going to look like. I mean, we sold 5 million ounces the first month of January this year. So what's that going to look like next year in January? I mean, yes, it's 69% from last June, but if we're setting record-breaking sales at the beginning of this year, I don't know what's going to happen. But my theory is looking like my theory might be coming true. Since Eagles have such a crazy high premium, basically ripping off people since it's a standard bullion coin with nothing special to it, I think people are going to start to stir away, start to leave the Eagles. I mean, Eagles are the most popular coin, right? It's worldwide recognizable. No other coin is like that. You could take an Eagle anywhere in the world. People see that coin as value. They might not understand the 1 ounce of silver inside of it being value, but they know that that coin has value. You can't do that with any other coin. But I do think that people are going to start kind of shying away from Eagles and going to better alternatives, whether that's a Britannia, a Maple, or even generics. And maybe that is starting to happen. Now you got to remember, there's also a direct correlation between silver demand and the price. When demand is higher, the price goes higher. When demand is lower, the price goes lower. So anyways, sentiment in the gold market was fairly bullish last month as investors saw precious metals as an important inflation hedge and safe haven asset as recession fears have started to grow. However, that bullish sentiment wasn't seen in the physical bullion space as sales dropped sharply last month. According to sales data from the US Mint, it sold 44,000 ounces of gold in various denominations of its American Eagle gold bullion coins last month, down nearly 75% from the 175,000 ounces sold in May. For the year, gold bullion sales have dropped 76% compared to 182,000 ounces sold in June of 2021. Demand for US bullion coins was at its lowest level since December of 2021. Now, according to some market analysts, June's weak sales are startling, and yes, I mean, it is, given how strong demand has been throughout the year, and that's the crazy part. I mean, 5 million ounces the first month of January is crazy because usually the US Mint only produces around 13 million ounces annually for the entire year, but they sold 5 million the first month, right? A third, more than a third of what the annual mintage is they sold in 1 month. But now we're seeing this. It's very confusing, to say the least. I do think premiums have a play in it. I also think just uncertainty as you know, in general, and as prices are lower, people are kind of giving up, which is silly. This is the perfect entry point, not exit point, but that's what's happening. What do you think's happening though? Let me know. According to some analysts, a couple factors appear to be dragging down bullion sales. The first is sharp correction in equity markets. The S&P 500 fell 23% in the first half of 2022, its worst half-year performance since the 1970s. Analysts said that in the environment, retail investors don't have a lot of Excel capital to buy physical bullion. Now, I don't think that's why. I mean, they're looking at it from such an analytical point, but not really getting into the stackers mentality. You know, when you're, especially since they're talking about physical bullion, they're talking about people like you and I. These analysts, they don't understand how silver stackers perceive the markets, right? Premiums, all that stuff, they don't really incorporate that, which is important to take note of, especially when you're theorizing about what happened. However, there is another headwind facing the market, which is significant premiums. Okay, there we go. So they're starting to get there, right? So anyways, gold prices had been dropping through most of June, but premiums remained elevated. I mean, gold really doesn't have premiums. And by the way, Bullion Max is going to be doing a sale of 5 grams of gold at spot price, literally at spot price, not a dollar higher. Whatever spot price is, that's what you pay for the 5-gram Volcambi bar, which I think is pretty cool. Shout out to Bullion Max, great company, by far the best upcoming bullion dealer out there, hands down, and that's my genuine opinion. But anyways, so where were we at? So premiums remain elevated, which is keeping a lot of customers out of the market. And yes, I agree. I think that's probably the biggest driver. But also, you know, when prices are down, people panic sell. So those people that are panic selling would also be stackers potentially buying. So people just in general aren't interested in silver. He added that lower prices should lead to lower premiums for bullion coins. I don't think that's necessarily true, though. I think it's just going to be a better way to get high premium coins for cheaper, since the premium stays the same, but since spot price is decreasing, it's still decreasing the amount you have to pay for the coin. I don't think premiums are going to go down, though, because premiums have to do with scarcity. Premiums have to do, well, I mean, there's a couple different situations. With the U.S. Mint, it's more legal. I mean, they're going up against Congress because they're non-compliant with demand, since they have to pay certain prices that other mints don't have to, especially in private mints. Actually, the U.S. Mint gets most of their silver from Sunshine Mint. And since Sunshine Mint's making a killing from selling it, the U.S. Mint these prices, they have no intention to do so. And plus, the U.S. government's holding down these prices, or holding up these prices, I guess, because it's its own way to, I guess, capitalize on its own $30 trillion of debt. I mean, I made a whole docu-series about this thing, several different expert opinions, and it's looking like the premiums with American Eagles are at least the supply shortage, their problem of finding enough silver planchets isn't going to be fixed anytime soon. They're in violation of several different codes. I've showed all of them, actually, the legal stuff, what's going on, and it's very messy. It's very messy. So anyways, Philip Strable, chief market strategist at Blue Line Futures, said gold should continue to see solid demand through the rest of the year. However, he added that precious metals' most significant hurdle remains the US dollar. Research shows that gold does well in a recession, so many investors are looking at lower prices as a buying opportunity. The question is, how low will gold prices go before this is over? Although sentiment appears to be holding firm in the gold market, the same can't be said for silver. The silver market has struggled through most of June, and that uncertainty was reflected in physical demand. I mean, silver is gold on steroids. It's a more exaggerated, a more dramatic version of gold. So if gold's going to drop 10%, silver's going to drop 15%. Now that also works for the better. If gold's going to rise 10%, silver's going to rise 15%. So right now we're seeing the negative side, the riskier side of things, of why people call silver the devil's metal or the riskier version, or, yada yada. Now the mint sales show 861,000 ounces were sold last month, down 36% from May's sales. And analysts said that silver struggled as recession fears have grown over the last month. Although silver is an important monetary metal, more than half of the market demand comes from industrial uses. And this is where we get into everything, right? Silver is a monetary metal, but also an industrial metal, right? That's the important thing to take note of. But that also is a benefit, because right now they're looking at all of this from a demand side, right? Demand is down 69% for silver, and nobody's getting into it from the investment side. They're not even looking at the industrial sector. That's the important thing to take note of. If you just look at all these numbers from the US Mint and demand being down and all that, but you don't incorporate the industrial use and why we're going to need so many billions of ounces, literally billions of ounces of silver over the next decade, then you're missing the entire point of why silver has so much potential. Gold prices have dropped to their lowest level since September 2021. However, silver prices are at their lowest point since July 2020. Concern about an impending recession steadily grew in June as the Federal Reserve aggressively raised interest rates to tamp down inflation. Markets expect the U.S. Central Bank to raise interest rates by another 75 basis points at the end of the month. So yeah, and by the way, if you guys don't really get what I'm saying, or understand what I'm talking about on the industrial side of silver demand, I'm going to be making another video later today talking about how demand boom expected for silver in industrial applications and other silver news. And it's basically going over everything that last sentence kind of mentioned. And that's a very important sentence, because if you're looking at silver prices and all that from just this stuff and don't incorporate this, you're missing the bigger picture, the entire picture, right? So anyways, yeah, what do you think about all this? Do you think that silver is going to keep dropping? Do you think it's going to drop below $19? Or do you think that maybe it's going to start recovering and people are going to see these prices and start to buy in? Are you buying right now? Are you on the fence? Are you worried? Are you shaken up right now? Are you someone who's kind of uncertain? Because if you are, you can always let us know in the comments. We're not going to judge you. We're not going to make fun of you. We're all here to help. And especially if you're a newer stacker that maybe just got in and don't really understand what's going on, or this is your first really like price crash, I would definitely consider this a crash. Then let us know, and we can, I guess, try to reassure you of why we are silver stackers and why this doesn't bother us or phase us at all to any degree. It almost makes us more happy. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I got one last thing to say, though. I want to take a second to give a shout out to my channel sponsor, BullionMax.com. I'm honored to be working with one of the best bullion dealers online. Great prices, great deals, and by far the best packaging out of any company that I've ever seen. They even offer a silver starter kit, which is 5 ounces of silver at below employee pricing, with extremely high premium coins for a great deal. It's only one per household, but a great way to lower your dollar per ounce average a bit and get a chance to grab some great coins. So shout out to Bullion Max, such a great company, always sending me silver to give away to my subscribers as well. BullionMax.com, and if you want the starter kit, go to BullionMax.com/SilverSlayer. And also make sure to go to AG47apparel.com if you want to express your love for precious metals with the clothes on your back. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.